The chapter opens at a restaurant where Gwiyoung is getting his order. He ordered biksuk, a Korean dish made through boiling or steaming of meat and fish. The lady of the restaurant comes and serves him his order. Seeing his order, he puts out a leg piece from the dish and gives it to his sister, saying, "Here, Dongi, eat this," but soon he realizes that she is not present. This made him sad, but he looked at the person who had held that leg piece that was in his hand. His sadness immediately goes when he sees that person is Lee Sung-mong. Lee Sung-mong asks him if he has been well, Gwiyoung. Instead of answering Lee Sung-mong's question, he asks him what has brought him here. While eating that leg piece, does he still see his sister? Lee Sung-mong ignored his inquiry and addresses the lady waitress ordering to give some alcohol. He says to Gwiyoung, looking at him with a smile on his face, there is no alcohol after setting the table. Does he not know the joys of life? But Gwiyoung doesn't utter a single word, looking at the table with deep thought. Lee Sung-mong again addresses him and says that does he still see his sister? Gwiyoung replies to him saying that he doesn't see her anymore now. After hearing Gwiyoung's answer, he says that he should have a drink now as he has sent his sister to a better place, and it is the first step that he has taken towards becoming an adult. Gwiyoung denies him, saying no, he is still a bit child and cannot drink this. But Lee Sung-mong doesn't put any ear to his denying and pours the drink into his bowl. Gwiyoung, having curiosity in his voice, says to Lee Sung-mong that he, along with General Choi Yeon-deok, are the famous figures of the area and the best swordsmen are trained by you. So what is the reason that a famous person like him is paying so much attention to him? Lee Sung-mong says that he likes interesting people, and he was the one who found out about him on Majesty's orders. He further says that it is interesting to have the ability to kill others at that age and make so many records through that name. Gwiyoung says the title Ghost Shadow when he sees Lee Sung-mong trying to remember that name. Lee Sung-mong instantly says yes, that name is made up of GWI, from Gwishin meaning ghost to Young meaning shadow. Isn't this an amazing combination? Gwiyoung shyly says that Gwahanja for precious and Young Hanja for welcome, and that his real name is not Gwiyoung. Lee Sang-mong first felt shock, but then apologizes for not correctly pronouncing his real name and pours some more drink into the bowl of Gwiyoung. While pouring the drink, he says to Gwiyoung that it is his nature not to think more in the depth of his original thoughts, and tells him to never forget his past, as what will he be doing in the future will be a journey to clean up that past and move towards a new and clean path. Lee Sung-mong, serving the drink to Gwiyoung, says, "Let's have a bowl of drink and cheers to your new life. A precious welcome," translating his name. Gwiyoung, holding the bowl given by Lee Sang-mong, says with full enthusiasm, "Let's do that." Gwiyoung fell on the sitting after getting drunk, and Lee Sung-mong says that look at him, he is done with only one bowl, and gets up from his sitting and says while looking at the unconscious drunk Gwiyoung that he thinks that the ghost shadow has not become an adult. Lee Sung-mong, standing at the head side of Gwiyoung, says that he comes thinking this will take quite a while, but this was not a fun thing as it was so much easy. Looking disappointed at the drunken Gwiyoung, who is sleeping so soundly unknown of what is going to happen to him, Lee Sung-mong comes and steals the jade plaque, the green marble bar, from the Gwiyoung that was given by the king. He says while addressing Gwiyoung that doesn't he have to tell him that he likes interesting fellows, and this is not interesting as it was too easy. Try to have some fun. And while moving out of the place, he says loudly to the owner to let the young man keep sleeping. The day changes into night. Gwiyoung opens his eyes and, feeling surprised, says, "When does the night come? When does he fall asleep?" Not finding Lee Sung-mong around, he says, "Does he leave?" He remembers what was said before about not forgetting the past, as it will lead him to a clear path. Lee Sung-mong. He says, full of motivation, that he will never forget the past, as this is just the beginning. The gossip going around other customers at the restaurant about the recruitment of the Special Forces has just begun. Some are saying that the recruitment of Special Forces is just a surface thing. The real reason is to pick the informers. About hearing informer, Gwiyoung remembers what the king has said to him while handing him the jade plaque. He addressed his sister, saying to wait till his brother becomes an informer and will take her revenge, and put his hand in the pocket inside to take out the bar given by the king. But he is shocked after not finding the plaque inside his pocket. He put everything upside down that was present on the table to find the plaque, but all in vain, as he has lost the jade plaque. The scene shifts to the place of recruiting royal forces by the government at the mountain site. Many individuals have come for the recruitment in the royal forces made by the king himself. One of the individuals, upon seeing the mountains, says, "What kind of recruitment of royal forces is happening there up in the mountains?" The other one says to his friend that what he has said about the place is true by pointing to the public gathered at the place, and says to him in a questionable tone, "Does he cannot tell? By just the number of people gathered at the place, it looks like that the whole has come to this place." Another individual from the crowd says, while looking at the number of people before him, just how many people are here and the chance of making it seem silly. One individual, while looking at Gwiyoung, says that at least there will be one behind him, and asks the other that a child like him has also applied. Where Gwiyoung is still in shock after seeing the mountains and tries to overcome the loss of jade plaque, as because of it, he has less chance of having privilege. The government officer, who is sitting to take the background information about the individuals, asked the next one to come forward. The next turn is of Gwiyoung, who stands in front of the table. The officer asks him about how is he and where he is from, to which Gwiyoung replies that he is from Mucheon and his name is Gwiyoung. He hesitantly says to the officer that he has come here after he got the jade plaque, but he has lost it on his way here. The officer, after listening to his statement about the jade plaque, says to him that if it is jade plaque, then it is a transfer that the individual doesn't have to take the test, but the question comes, why does a child like you have something so precious like that, and what sort of person gave that to you? Gwiyoung replies to the officer shyly that this is true as the king himself has given him. The government officer, after hearing his reply, asks the guards to take this man out, naming him a crazy fellow. Gwiyoung starts calling the officer to hear him, while the guards are escorting him out. But the officer put not an ear on his pleading. Another character enters in the scene where he introduces him to the individuals who have come for the recruitment in the royal force. He says while leading the group of individuals, "My name is Kim Jang, the proctor, who is in charge of this northern region recruitment of royal forces." He continues his address to the individuals that, as you all are aware, the conditions for the selection are greater. The standards for selection are much stricter than that. There will be exceptional wages and benefits to those who are selected. But one thing every one of you should be kept in mind is that the mission you all will be performing will be much dangerous. A wave of fear comes on the face of everyone. He further says to them that he is saying all this to them, as this is not something that can be done with mere luck and cheated tricks, and asks them do they understand what he is saying. He says while looking straight at Gwiyoung that for someone who is speaking nonsense about losing the king's jade plaque, this is a mission that you will not be able to bear. He further says that there is a need to delay this, and he will begin the first test immediately. He starts explaining the mission that the participants have to perform. It is quite simple. They are to bring a red feathered arrow from the top of the mountain that they are seeing, and those who bring the red arrow will pass at that moment. But keep in mind that there are only 10 red feathered arrows at the mountain's top. He asks the participants do they have understood what he is trying to say. As the proctor finishes his speech, everyone except Gwiyoung runs towards the mountaintop. The proctor asks Gwiyoung by calling him Jade Plaque Boy, what is he doing? Gwiyoung, being trying to understand what he has heard, says he was just so surprised. He shouted for him to run this instant. Gwiyoung starts running, replying to him, yes sir. The proctor says to himself that if we don't bring faults in the orphans, then a young child like him can do anything. Gwiyoung, while running, asks himself questions and makes plans about the mission. He plans as there are 10 red feathered arrows, he must have to come in the first 10 places, asking himself if he has fallen behind them, does he will be able to make it? But he gets puzzled when he sees the participants are lying unconscious on the ground, unaware of their surroundings. As he was trying to comprehend the situation and what had happened to them, someone from behind his back attacked with a rotten stick. He made his attempt, failed, and bent his head after sensing someone around him. The attacker says with a messy smile that he avoided this. Another participant comes to the scene where, from his body language, it seems like he also has made a deal with each other, says with a Satanist smile to Gwiyoung that the proctor has said that there are only 10 red feathered arrows, but the point is that he never said there will be 10 to pass as well. The first thing we should do is to knock down whoever we see. If we just chase out and steal the arrows from the ones coming down from the mountain, it will be over, right? Gwiyoung, listening to their opinions, burns with fury. The participant who is expressing his pious thoughts to Gwiyoung comes to attack him with a wooden bat, saying to him, does he even understands what they are saying? The ones who will pass the mission are the 4 of them, but Gwiyoung skillfully makes his attempt fail and counterattacks him. Gwiyoung says with a wide smile, how did they get a brilliant idea?